Easy actually. In the beginning it was kind of tough to gain the trust from the bodybuilders because I, don't come from the bodybuilding world, of course. I come from the film world, and in the beginning it was very tough because, in the previous years there were various people who approached the bodybuilding community to make a film like this one or similar to that film, but it just didn't resonate with the bodybuilders or with the, with the bodybuilding league or even with the fans, I think. So to gain the trust, I had to do a lot of explaining what the vision was. What really helped was really spending time with them and making sure that they understand, my vision for this film. And also, of course, spending time with the people that actually, run the bodybuilding league, the IFBB Pro League. Jim Mannion, of course, Robin Chang, and so on and so forth. People that organize the Olympia. The judges, stuff like that. But the most important thing was to really spend time with the bodybuilders and explain to them what I really envisioned for this film to be. Pumping Iron is a legendary film. When we started making Generation Iron, we knew that it has to be a different type of film because, in a way, Pumping Iron introduced bodybuilding to the world, and Generation Iron needs to go a little bit deeper. And in a way, Generation Iron is a film about bodybuilding, but most importantly, it's a film about bodybuilders. So the characters are really the most important thing in the film. Bodybuilding is of course physical. It takes a lot of physical effort, but also a lot of mental effort. So I really wanted to understand what this is all about. So the films that inspire me, it's art in general. For me, bodybuilding is really an art form. I think a lot of people just confuse bodybuilding what it really is. It's definitely a lifestyle. It's an art form. It's artistic expression, and it's also a sport. So that really motivated me the most when creating this film. Nothing really specifically when it comes to other films. I really wanted to make it very unique. Well, I really want the audience to learn what is bodybuilding and who are these people that dedicate their lives to this art form sport. And what is bodybuilding all about? I think when you talk to a regular person that knows nothing about professional bodybuilding, what is bodybuilding, there's a lot of misunderstandings. Really, nobody really knows who are these bodybuilders. I think there's a lot of confusion, and there's also a lot of judgments happening when people don't really know anything about it. So in this film, I really wanted to address everything that we can possibly address about bodybuilding. Of course, we had full behind-the-scenes access of every part of the Olympia, backstage, front stage, side stage, every angle you can possibly imagine we had. And backstage, the pump-up room is actually where most of the drama really happens. That's where you can really feel anticipation, before the athletes go on stage. So that was the most important probably part for us to film. That is a very difficult question to answer, really, because all the bodybuilders that we have in the film that we follow are very, very dynamic characters. They are very, very different, and to pick the favorite one it's just impossible. What was really interesting for me to see the kind of like the change between them, the drastic change, because they're very different people. So, for instance, you film with Greene in New York for a few weeks. So, and you see kind of one dynamic, you spend some time with him and you see like, wow, that's an amazing character, so interesting. And then suddenly you go to Tampa, Florida, and you spend a week with Ben Pekulski, and it's a whole different person with, different mindset, different type of scenario that he lives in. Even the whole, scenery is different, of course. You go from one extreme to the other, and then you go to Denver, you film with Phil, and then so on and so forth. So they're all very different. But what's really what's really funny is when we first started making the film, I was told that, you know, why are you making a film about these bodybuilders? You know, they're not that interesting. Back in the day, you had Arnold, Ferrigno, those guys were exciting, fun, you know, fun to watch. They were real characters. So before making the film, you know, I spent some time with the new guys that we have in the film, the new generation. And I definitely realized that they are very dynamic characters. So I had a lot of fun with, you know, with everyone, single one of them. It was a great experience making this film. I learned that I'm way behind them after the training. You know, I was definitely, I didn't want to get in their way in the gym. I was trying to stay away while we were filming them because it gets pretty intense. If you spend time with somebody like Greene or Schwarzenegger in the gym, you know, it's just, they are force in the gym, you know, and I just didn't want to get in their way to trip them up or something, you know. I didn't want to ruin anything. But the way these guys train is incredible. You know, it's incredible. They all have very different styles of training, and I really wanted to highlight it in the film as well. So, for instance, you know, you have Heath, which is trains completely different from Branch Warren, and then you have Ben Pekulski, trains completely different from both of them, and so on and so forth. You know, so I learned a lot just by observing them train, and also how they kind of operate in their regular life outside the gym. It was very interesting to